Okay, I think I'm ready to start the stream. Hello, everyone. So this is going to be a makeup session because I think I accepted too many requests in the last stream and I overdid it, and it's been forever and I just need to finish up everything that I accepted last week. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Deirdre. So to go over what I've been working on, I got this Danny Phantom request that I did offline, and Andy Bass, and Bonkers, which I kind of, I really enjoyed the Bonkers request, but for that I started constructing more of like a crossover cartoon event in my head, so I might be doing some more sketching on the Bonkers idea in a moment. Or a moment. In time, I should say. And I got the fake Mrs. Brady. That was the one that I finished during the stream. The Duck Avenger. Invader Zim hanging out with Louie the Fly. And I think that's as far as I got. And I'm going to get to the lacklusters now. Ooh. And just try and finish up these bad boys, because it would be nice if I could take in some requests during a request stream. And let's see how quickly I can do this. 5 minutes a sketch? Let's see if I can do it. But first, before I do that, I also wanted to mention, if you like what I do and you want to throw me some support, always happy to accept, what is it called? The things that, money things. I love to accept money things. Tips, that's it. Tips and super chats and everything. And you can also go to my TeePublic store and get some t-shirts of obscure cartoon characters and original stuff as well. Anyway, that's out of the way. I'm gonna get to drawing. How's everybody tonight? This is probably gonna be my, we're doing a lot of work in the basement office here, because we had an issue with some water intrusion, which is the most horrible thing to happen when you have a house. It's so expensive. And it just, we've had to rearrange everything. And so I might be indisposed for a while. Not that I'm not usually indisposed, but now I have a really good excuse. So this was my last opportunity to stream for a while, so I wanted to make sure I at least caught up on the requests. And with some of these, I might not fuss too much about being on model. Which I always say, like, I don't claim to ever be on model, but when I'm not, I feel terrible. I feel awful about being off model. But sometimes I just don't have the time to study the character and get used to them. Man, if you were around last week for the Donald Duck saga, like, I just kept drawing Daffy over and over and over. Because they're very similar and yet very different. I don't know what this music is. It started out groovy and then it turned into just absolute wacky land. I might change it in a minute, but it is getting my adrenaline pumping. Oh, I should say welcome to everybody. I'm gonna do that in just a second. Let me finish Charlie. Hello, let's see. Welcome, Drago and Plush Blue. Yes, it is groovy music. And Dylan, hi. Diego, hello. And Mila asked, I wonder if I can make a request, or is it full? Full for now. Let's see how fast I can get through this. I might open it up for one or two requests at the very end. So stick around. How's that for a hook? And welcome back, Mario. And let's see, and Deirdre. And Matthew. And Matthew asks, can you tell us about your experience working on those Cocoa Puff cereal ads? Really want to know the process and thoughts on the character. Okay, I will log that away for when I start drawing again. And Lanali, let's see, baked turkeys. Hey, what if girl now following? Excellent, thank you for the alert, Judy. And Travis, hello. And Liston, hello. And Jaws Lover, hello. Were you able to finish up the last request? I don't remember who requested what. I'm sorry. So I'm going to finish the request today. And person turquoise waving. You know what? Emojis don't translate well in this chat for some reason. And Manny's my name. Andy Bass looks kind of different from her official art, but cool job. Yeah, I'm not going off on model. If I'm struggling, I'm just gonna do something else. And Ice Cream Hero and Mike Chicago. And Matthew says, repeat, can you tell us the experience working on those Cocoa Puff commercials? Yes, absolutely. And David Alejandro Lopez Portillo, hey there to you. And is there other new people? And John McClanahan, hi John. Yeah, and I'm glad John is here because now I can tell everyone to go listen to the latest Animaniacast podcast that's an interview with John McClanahan. You might know him as the founder and main driving force behind the great American animation studio StarToons. And he's never recorded an interview before, so I highly, highly, highly recommend it for, like, if you're at all interested in animation in the 90s or animation in general. It's just, you gotta listen to it. It's a part 1, second part's coming out soon, but Animaniacast, latest episode, you gotta hear what John McClanahan has to say. Also, the other day, I thought of the term John McClanahan animation, and my husband told me it's just no good, don't ever say that again, but I like portmanteaus, so I'm just a fan of John McClanahan animation. Also, that is the first time I've recalled the term portmanteau without having to look it up. So, let's say my mood is lightening. Oh, I forgot to do Instagram. Darn it! I thought I remembered everything. Now my mood is back down to normal level. I always forget one thing. One thing always goes wrong. Let's see. So he's got earphones that kind of go in that way. Earphones? I also always call them earbuds, which I gotta make a joke about because if anyone remembers, Air Bud was a story about a dog that played basketball in the 90s. But that had to have been on the floor of Apple. Just somebody must have suggested that. Earbuds. Because they're earbuds. I don't know. This is why I do not make the big bucks. Okay, so that's his jacket. Apologies. These characters are really cute, but I'm unable to do them very well. Should be a bit bigger. Why is my opacity so low? You silly. I'm gonna change this hand because I don't. Sometimes I just don't like drawing fists. They just never look right. Just make this simpler. Okay, let's see if that looks any tidier. Oh, yes, let me check the chat once more. And, oh, welcome, Saint Fasuto. And I got a super chat from Piscando, and I didn't get an alert, or was I just completely oblivious? And Piscando, thank you so much for the super chat, saying I should have saved some energy. Crash moment inbound. Hope you have a fantastic night. Catch you on the flip side. Get okay. I might be a bit manic before I crash, but appreciate it. Thanks. And Manny said, I actually want to point out that the top of Andy Bass's head is an actual fish mouth. What? The top of her head is a fish mouth? I don't know what you mean. Looks like hair to me. Anyway, it's just my redesign. That's just how it rolls. Let's get to the paint box and just start filling in this good stuff. Just roughing in the color. Brilliant, brilliant, thrilling, isn't it? I know. But thank you for having simple color on these guys. So, yeah, the Cocoa Puffs commercials. It was when I was at Primal Screen, and they landed the gig for the next round of Cocoa Puffs ads. I can't remember. Yeah, the ad agency who hired us was Saatchi & Saatchi, and I got to animate on Sunny. Just got my shots assigned to me. I think the first one was Elevator, and then there was one called Inner Peace, where Sunny climbs up a mountain to find a guru to tell him about how to either find chocolate or stop wanting chocolate. I don't know. And then was it Big News Combos? And then there was Opera and Courtroom. Courtroom might have been the last one. No, I think Opera was the last one that we did. But it was kind of a coup for Primal to get those ads. It was normally that stuff was done by, I think, Calabash. I think Renegade had done some before then. And I remember watching one. I think it was, they sent us a lot of reference, and I just watched them over and over again. I learned so much from trying to learn how to emulate the really beautiful style of those cereal commercials. Just so much fun. But we had about a month to do each spot. It was a 30-second spot, so probably a little more than a month. Let's say 6 weeks, because the animation had to be done within. I just know the animation had to be done within a month, because then there was color and comp and everything. So I kind of had to keep on my toes work quickly. But I learned a lot. It's funny, one of my directors on that spot, and a few years later, we were reminiscing, and he said, like, you did some good work. You were slow, you took your time, but you did some good work, and I was so offended. I was like, I turned that around really fast. Oh well. Can't be all things to all people. But yeah, I love that one. Oh, and somewhere in the midst there we got a Trix ad, and the Trix ad was my favorite. I wish we could have gotten more Trix spots. Oh, I love that rabbit with his it's just squishy with the ears, and just a great design. I could have had so much fun. So much fun. But yeah, let me check the chat. I'm nearly done with this one. And Brian says, I wondered if you designed Wilt for Foster's Home. No, I've only done promos for Foster's Home. I never worked on the show, and I certainly wouldn't have been hired as a character designer at that point in my career. I don't have to read all the repeats. Well, I just read what my eye is drawn to. And welcome, B. Williams. Haley Bird, welcome. Hi, Joe, what do you know? I know more. I know things that would make your hair curl. And John says, yeah, I can't draw on model either. You improve the models, John. You improve them. And Drago said, John McClanahan, are you for real? Yep, that's him. Are you kidding me? Your corporation was called McClanahanimation? I thought I was being clever. Yeah, Rams the name. I keep wanting to say Rams the name, but Rams the name said, checked out part 1 of the John McClanahan interview a couple days ago. Excited for part 2. It's a great interview. John, you should be proud. And it's also really funny. There's some parts that just made me laugh out loud. And Liston says, am I still planning to do the Valentine's Day special Total Request stream? Ooh, you just reminded me of that plan. If I have access, if I have access to my machine and the internet at that time, if things are not getting all torn up in the basement here, darn that water intrusion, then I'll do my absolute darndest. It might be a smaller one. It might be like no more than 3 or 4 or 5. I always, like, the thing is, I keep wanting to take requests until I get one that I'm proud of. And I think I took so many requests last time because I just was not doing well. And I kept thinking, maybe I'll do better on the next one. Maybe the next one will turn out good. Oh no! They keep being bad. What do I do? Just better take another request. And then this happened. And then 2 weeks later, I'm still not caught up. But how many did I do last time? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I did 12 last time. I think that's a bit excessive. I just want to please you all. I just want you all to be happy. I can't do all the requests in the world. But maybe I should institute a policy that's only one request at a time from one person. Or if I've done a bunch from you before, I don't know. That's more for me to keep track of, and it's more than I'm worth to keep track of. Okay, almost done with the very first one, and it only took 20 minutes. Also, I do intend to sleep tonight at some point. I might start to take a little bit more liberty to be sloppy. Pika pika. Palomi taper. That's a lot of syllables. Well, pal, thanks for the follow. There we go. We got lacklusters. Let's go to Sunny. Now, the requester finished Sunny themselves. I wonder if I should even bother, because they did a real good job. Real good job. Okay, let's check up on the... Hey, Lee, Jazzy Joe. Lee has nicknamed me Jazzy Joe, and I keep waiting for the rest of you to pick up on that I like that nickname, so... Come on, people. B. Williams says, am I planning to animate more songs like Monkey Rag? Not to that degree for the time being, because that took such a long time, but I do want to do things to introduce... I do want to do more things to music, and I've got an idea that I'm planning to do this year. And I'm going to try and enlist the help of some musician friends. So, we shall see. We shall see. I think animation and music, they're like chocolate and peanut butter. They go great together. Especially jazz. You know, there's just something about jazz and animation. They belong with each other. Oh, I hear a ringy-dingy. What's that? Hey, Kitcha Cat cheered. Thanks. You know, I keep forgetting that I stream to Twitch, so thank you for the reminder. Okay, this is real crummy. I just gotta start going faster. And damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I think my problem is that I just don't like this drawing, and I don't care to spend more time on it. Now, sometimes during these sessions, it's good to feel like I've got to. I just gotta. But other times, if left to my own druthers, I would have moved on from this a long time ago. Okay, let's see. So he's got the stripy shirt. Well, that didn't work. I was kind of hoping I could save some time that way, but it sort of did. Okay. It's just gonna be a very loose colored sketch. Because, yeah, I keep forgetting. I didn't promise that these were gonna be good. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Achoo! It's worth the wait. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. This is a really bad drawing. And maybe it's also because I know that it's already been done way better than I will finish it, but I'm just demoralized. Okay, so that's what 5 minutes looks like. Moving on. Let's check out the chat. I have fallen behind. The small bit of hair on her head, that's her fish mouth. Oh man, I am very far behind. And oh, No Parking Berry remembers that on the virtual summit, I said I wanted to do an animated version of the Spike Jonze song Cocktails for Two. So I desperately want to do that, but I don't. I looked up the resources on how to get permission to use copywritten music like that, and it was a lot more confusing than I was hoping, so I kind of I need to meet people who can just tell me to talk to so-and-so and they'll work it out. But as it stands now, I just don't know. Oh, I forgot. I need to talk some more. Oh. And Jaws Lover says, would like to apologize for my assertiveness earlier. Just had a really long day. I must have missed the assertion. And Scott, hello Scott, Sachi and Sachi, weren't they the ones who came up with the phrase a car in front's a Toyota? I have no idea, maybe. John asked, is Calabash still going? Last I heard, I think so. And and Saint Fasuto said, and I misspelled Cocoa Puffs. It's always something, huh? Also, if you're reading this, Sunny did have a shirt before the mid-2000s. It was an integral part of the character until then when they made him naked. Yeah, he started out with like a vest thingy and a bow tie. Yeah. Scott says, I draw so many rabbit characters because their ears are cool. Rabbit ears are awesome. And Deirdre says, actually loved watching 2D hand-drawn animated ads when I was little because it had Cocoa Puffs and Cookie Crisp. Yeah, I like the Cookie Crisp ads. Those were like little stories. Oh, Nate says, I stand corrected. Nate, when did you join the chat? Ugh, I'll never find it. Okay. Hope the water problem is resolved. We'll see you next week. John says, you are so brave doing this, but your results are fantastic. I don't know if it's bravery. Might be, foolhardiness. But yeah, it's like doing these live streams is kind of like risking a very public mental breakdown because it's just characters I would never attempt drawing if left to my own druthers, and that I'm very publicly attempting them for the first time usually. Or it's characters that I should know how to draw, that when I try to draw in front of people, I just can't. Like, I should know how to draw Donald Duck. Turns out, I really can't. And it's, it's embarrassing and humiliating, but, hopefully it's entertaining. This is not a song I'm going to continue listening to. What is it called? Balloons on Parade. The next one is called When the Cat's Away. How much you want to bet it has meows in it? Better. And let's see if I can get to the bottom of the chat. Can I do it, Dodgers? And B says, how much would you charge to animate a whole song? I don't know. Depends on how long it is. And nobody... Yeah. Tip, use a fill tool. Nope, doesn't work. And Nasty says, anybody know about the whole Justin Roiland fiasco recently? Adult Swim fired the dude. Well, what's concerning is about how long they knew about him. And it took somebody to leak private DMs to have them make a move. I mean, honestly, can you watch these shows like Sid and Marty Krofft? No, Rick and Morty. Can you watch these shows and not feel like there's something twisted going on? They just like the level of despair and nihilism. As I feel like a lot of shows are made by people to work out personal problems. So I still remember, was it the first episode where Morty was in the bathroom of this, just like really nasty stuff, like, I don't know. I just, everyone says Rick and Morty is a really intelligent show. Like, okay, yeah, maybe, sure, but I don't think it's ever made me laugh. It just always makes me feel icky. But that's the scene these days. Oh, thank you for a Jazzy Joe, Plush Blue. And Mr. Bean asked, did you also work on Mad TV from Cartoon Network? If that's addressed to me, then no, I did not. And Travis says his nickname is Scooter. Excellent. So... Oh, and Mila has quoted me saying, jazz and animation, they belong with each other. Oh, it sounds so profound when you put quotes around it. Thank you. That may make a good senior quote. And you know, my senior quotes were so pretentious. I think I quoted The Brain from Pinky and the Brain and Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh gosh, what was the Brain's quote? Oh, what was it? The fact that you continue to exist only fills me with wonder. Something, what's that quote? Does anybody remember? Something where the Brain says to Pinky, the fact that you something only fills me with wonder. And then I remember the Holly Golightly quote was, if I had her money, I'd be richer than she is. Which I always thought, it doesn't make any sense, but it's just adorable. Breakfast at Tiffany's was was a movie that I watched way too young, and I had no idea what it was about, but I loved it, because it had a cat, and Audrey Hepburn looked amazing. I still remember that one scene where she first meets, who plays the guy? Is it Tab Hunter? She first meets him, and she's getting dressed, and she just puts on a hat. Like, she looks like completely casual, and then she just puts on a hat, this amazing, big, black, broad hat. And she looks like she's just stepped out of Vogue. And I was like, just a hat did all that? I was fascinated. I've wanted large hats ever since. I think hats should make a comeback. People need to renormalize hats, hat wearing. Yeah. Oh, let's get down. Okay, let's get down to... Oh man, I have got to get down. Okay. Oh my gosh, listen to this. Someone wants to offer promotion of my channel and give me viewers and followers and views and chatbots. But is the price high? No, the price is lower than any competitor. Wow, thank goodness they found me. What an excellent opportunity. Mike Chicago. Am I going to C2E2? I am not. Someday I'll get back to the circuit. And Mike Chicago, and I will say that every time, I'm sorry, it's just tick now. Notice on your merch page there's a Musette shirt. Am I a fan of Gay Paris? Love Gay Paris. It has story problems for sure, but it's just such a cute movie. It's just so cute. And the music is incredible. It's so good. Apparently, Judy Garland was instrumental in getting Harold Arlen. No. Maybe they hired Harold Arlen and he got Judy on board. I can't remember. One brought the other on board, but Harold Arlen is just an incredible songwriter. Unbelievable. He wrote Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And the music, I think Little Drops of Rain, a song that he wrote for Gay Paris, Little Drops of Rain, I read somewhere that that was Judy Garland's favorite song. And it's such a beautiful song. It's just tender and sincere and sad and beautiful, and I just really, really love it. So that's why I kind of whatever the word is to express when somebody says like such and such movie has great music, and I listen, I'm like, I don't remember it. Like, for example, like Moana. Nothing against Moana, it didn't really thrill me. But everyone's like, oh, the music is amazing. And I'm like, but have you heard Little Drops of Rain? I think our standards have really gotten low over the years. Because it used to be, I don't know, it's like, is any song gonna last the way Harold Arlen songs have lasted? Like, they don't age. Like, somebody says, oh, this song aged well. It's like, no, these songs don't age at all. They're always beautiful. They're so memorable. And they make you feel something. They grab you in the heartstrings. They just don't let go. So like every time you hear the song, it brings you back. And I just feel like we've lost a lot over the decades. And I'd like to do something, going back to why I think animation and music belong together. I'd like to do something that brings these great songs back to getting some attention. Because I just feel like it's a lack of exposure. And, again, it's like there's a beautiful, juicy steak, and everyone's just filling up on potato chips, saying, like, these chips are good. I'm like, yeah, well, you're not gonna remember these potato chips, but, like, you have really good steak. Like, you remember how delicious that steak was for the rest of your life. And it's kind of like that with music, except more so because steak is just food. But it's like, music can be nourishing in a very, very deep way. And, yeah, Little Drops of Rain. It's exquisite song. I actually like it when Robert Goulet sings it more than when Judy Garland sings it. As much as I adore Judy Garland, there's something about Robert Goulet's voice that really makes that song spectacular. Yes, I know, I'm curmudgeon-y. But I do it because I want to share something. I very, very, very passionately wish to share something that means a lot to me. And I know, like, once people get exposed to it, when they see it, it affects them too. So I know it can't just be me. Oh! What is she, Michael Jackson? Put on your other glove, girl. There's a great National Film Board of Canada animation of The Cat Came Back. Yeah, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Sorry, I'm scrolling down. And Spontaneous, great name. Put in a request in the last stream, but don't remember if you put in the reference right. And Wagoner. Hello, Wagoner. Face red heart shape. B. Williams said the title was Gay Puree, right? Or wasn't it? Gay Puree was a kinky cannibal flick. Oh, probably. And No Parking Barrier says, speaking of Disney, have you heard news about Toy Story 5? Oh, Zootopia 2, and Frozen 3 being announced all at once. Sure. Scott says, I love steak. Thank you. She looks fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad. I had somebody give a compliment, so I'm moving on. Okay, and this was Tabitha from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is a proud Atlanta original. Used to be everyone in town worked on Aqua Teen. Or Squidbillies. And I was like, alright. I never understood the premise of Aqua Teen. Just like, I wish it could have been there for the pitch. Like, I just want to know what it's about. But I did like the voice acting on that show. This is an episode I never saw. Boy, Adult Swim was so wacky. Like, in the beginning, Adult Swim wasn't pure nihilism and insanity. Like, there was a playful edge to it at one point. Okay, I'm not going to... Hey! And Wingit says, is that canned music in the background? It's music from Epidemic Sound, so I do not get flagged on YouTube. Toy Story 5 is what we didn't ask for. Pardon me for being extremely harsh, but the Toy Story franchise needs to die. What if somebody, like, what if Toy Story 5 is super meta and it's about how the toys just like have a death wish now because they can't go on anymore? It's the endless, you know, shenanigans throughout all time, and they invent a time machine to go back to Toy Story 3 where they're all in the furnace and just get melted alive. Like, they all hold hands and then die. I was like, this is where it should have ended. It's like a Final Destination, but with toys. Like, we should have gone down that furnace. We need to go. Now who's being dark? Oh, I need to listen to my own medicine. Well, see, that's what it does. You stare into the abyss long enough, and it just infects you. That's why I need happy things to listen to, happy things to watch. I mean, not all the dang time, but at least some of the time. If everything's just like, existence is pointless, then at a certain point, it's hard to keep bouncing back from that. And one of the reasons I like 1940s music so much is that the novelty music was still mainstream. Like, we're talking about Spike Jonze. He was so popular. So popular. And then you had Kay Kaiser, who had a ton of novelty music. And these were really goofy, funny songs. Oh, and you had completely delightful performers like Danny Kaye and Betty Hutton. My kids love Betty Hutton. They just die laughing at all of her songs. And just now, you'd be hard-pressed to find something that is even just not aggressively trying to devour your soul. I just want to do just little songs. I just want to do a little song. That's all. Someday I'll make it to the bottom of the chat. Manny's My Name says, that wasn't harsh at all. I think we've had enough Toy Story for a while, and this is coming from a huge Toy Story fan. Absolutely. I love Toy Story. And, you know, I was very skeptical of the whole CG thing for a long time. I still don't trust CG. But at least now, I can rattle off a few titles that I actually enjoy. But Toy Story was an auspicious beginning. I was completely invested in the characters. And that's like, can you imagine if it was something like Shark's Tale that was the very first CG feature? Like, do you think it would have taken off the way it did? I don't think so. So it's sort of Toy Story's fault that everyone just went full bore into CG and throwing a 2D to the curb so quickly because it was such a good movie. They're like, because it's computer animated. Like, no, you kumquats. It was because it was good. Because the characters felt true and real. Doesn't kumquat sound like a really dirty word? I just ordered some, and they're really horribly delicious. Like, they're horrible, but at a certain point you get used to them, and you really sort of crave that citrus burst. But yeah, I always feel a little strange about the name. It sounds like it's got to be like a swear word in some other language. Anyway. Maybe I should have said, yeah, turnip. Now this is a genre I could get into, honky-tonk ghost music. Oh, and I keep meaning to get to the bottom of the chat. Let's go. If Disney can sell Hulu, then they need to sell 20th Century Fox and all Fox properties. Yeah. Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken's great. They get such an incredible quality of animation on that show. And No Parking Berry says, I only know Danny Kaye for when Bugs and Daffy imitated his fast-paced scatting on separate occasions. Yeah, it's incredible when you think about how famous Danny Kaye was. He was like the greatest star, most beloved personality in the world for a decade. Betty Hutton too. In the 40s and 50s, she was like an unbelievable star. And Danny just, like, his movies weren't big hits, but he was just beloved by everybody. Incredible personality, performer, entertainer. And then he just sort of, and Betty too, Betty got forgotten like that. And it's really something everyone should understand, that the fame, no matter how famous somebody is, it is so fleeting. Like, you'd think that a certain level of attention would, be with you forever. But when you understand the scale of how well known these people were and how quickly they were forgotten, and not just how well known, it wasn't like they were famous for 15 minutes, it was decades. And then they were just never thought of again. And how did I find out about Betty Hutton? I'm trying to think. I think I heard her music first. I did, that's what I remember, because then I was watching Turner Classic Movies, and they announced a Betty Hutton movie. I think it was The Perils of Pauline was the first Betty Hutton movie that I saw. And I was like, what? She was in pictures? And then I stayed up way too late to watch The Perils of Pauline and got to see her actually perform some of the songs I was already familiar with. And she was incredible. She's an incredible performer. I mean, it wouldn't fly today because she's too goofy. But that's what I like about her. She's just completely goofy. And I think she's, like, everything about her is double jointed, so she kind of looks like a rubber hose cartoon character. Like, I swear, if you want to do some action analysis, look up Betty Hutton. If you want to study some beautiful hands, look up Danny Kaye. He has one video where he's conducting he's conducting, I think, the New York Philharmonic, and just, like, his hands are so elegant and expressive. I keep meaning to do, like, a study of Danny Kaye's hands. Just finally teach me how to draw hands. But yeah. But again, it's like, I just wish people would remember them. And I also think Looney Tunes deserves some special dispensation from some lofty institution for being a preserver of historical artifacts. Like, how many kids are familiar with great classical music simply because of Looney Tunes? How many kids now know these historical figures because of Looney Tunes? And that's something that Animaniacs did to carry on that tradition. And it's just like, oh. And then Stalin wanted to jump on Churchill's belly. Like, if you don't know who Winston Churchill and Stalin are, it's still a funny joke, and then you learn some history and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a very funny, very silly joke. I don't even remember what I started talking about. Oh, it's getting late. And I still haven't made it to the bottom of the chat. Let's go. Yes, I am just using blue instead of black because I am too lazy to change the color. No, I mean, I'm being efficient. That's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, put that in quotes. I don't know what I'm doing, Joanna Davidovich. Okay, so there's that terrible drawing. I just want to put this live stream behind me because I'm not proud of at all of these drawings. Not to diminish the brilliance of you guys and your requests, I'm just not in a good drawing place. And I looked up gas masks because I'm trying to figure out how to draw this mask from a different angle. And I'm just not getting it. It just doesn't look right no matter what I do. Let's see. Okay, I want to get to the bottom. And oh, we had Joshua here. Thanks for the company. Just repeat just in case. Should I ink and color the revised Sunny? Not sure if it might cause a ripple effect or so. Like, I don't know. It just depends on how many pocket dimensions you want to set off. It's all good. And Rams the Names said, I always saw computer animation as simulated stop-motion animation. It was intended to replace the medium and yet somehow replaced traditional animation instead. Interesting. Oh, thank you, No Parking Brewery. My own imitation of Danny Kaye's scatting was spot on. Thank you. I do enjoy a good scat now and then. And B. Williams says, don't forget Phil Ballou Harris. He was another 40s and 50s novelty singer. Yeah, he had a band. He was really dang popular. And Realm says, feel like Bob Hope stuck around. Oh boy, he was clinging to the last breath. I don't think that man could have existed without attention. And don't get me wrong, I like Bob Hope. I think his bad jokes are great. I like his movies, the road pictures that he did with Bing Crosby, fantastic, but not a nice man. And he definitely epitomized just like... I think he was in real life what Jack Benny pretended to be on his show. Just, yeah, I don't know. He still had some class. At least he presented himself as a class act. He actually did he do? I think he did a couple pictures with Betty Hutton. They were both at Paramount for a while. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Oh, let's end the night on my feeble attempt at animal anatomy. This kind of sounds like All I Do Is Dream of You. Woo! Okay, I'm almost at the bottom of the chat. Warner Brothers' original music is part of the national consciousness like Powerhouse. No, that's not Warner Brothers' music. That's Raymond Scott. Carl Stalling co-opted it. But again, it speaks to Warner Brothers being the keepers of the flame for cultural artifacts. Yeah, people wouldn't know any Raymond Scott if it wasn't for the Looney Tunes. And Raymond Scott is incredible. Incredible music. And actually, once you listen to Spike Jonze, you'll see, I'm a Warner Brothers gal, for sure. But the more I look into the universe of the 1940s, the more I realize, like, wow, they ripped off a lot, those Looney Tunes people. Those directors. There's Spike Jonze, just, he invented sort of like the Looney Tunes, I don't want to say timing, I don't want to say invented, I don't know. Maybe he was inspired by Looney Tunes, who the heck knows. But you cannot listen to Cocktails for Two and not see a Looney Tunes cartoon unfold before your eyes. It's Looney Tunes. And then you've got, impressions, like we mentioned, Danny Kaye, who's not a huge part of it, but the scat singing for definite, for sure. Yeah, nobody had, he had the most athletic tonsils, Danny Kaye did. You wouldn't believe it. I really liked his radio program. It was, I think, pretty short-lived, but on archive.org you can find a few episodes of it. And it was pretty darn funny. I mean, it's very self-aware and very cheesy, but I just like it. And did you know Mel Blanc had his own radio show for a while? And he was sort of billed as the man who does the Looney Tunes characters. And I've just wondered, like, how is he allowed to do that? Was this done by Warner Brothers? I had to look that up. But he would start out the show by going, "Yeah, what's up, Doc?" And I think the premise was that he owned a repair shop with B. Benaderet. Definitely a hardworking guy. Okay, does this even look like a dog? I think I need to lengthen the schnozzle. The schnozzle. He doesn't look like a dog. He looks like a bug to me. What am I missing here? Oh, what's missing is that I'm trying to be on model. That's not a good idea, Joe. Don't even attempt being on model. It's just going to make people sad. I think these eyes are too big. Let me see. Matthew Prower says, "That's what all the artists say these days. Chin up, dang it." Oh, what did I say? So I'm just trying to keep your self-esteem from going off a cliff. Sorry. Oh, Travis. Scooter says, "Sorry if Fritz's gas mask is giving you trouble. Honestly, I'm not even sure how I whipped up that design. His old one had hoses and tapes in a backpack. All I do is dream of chicken. And Wagner says, I was actually just talking about how the song Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby from the 40s has been constantly reintroduced to new generations via that one Tom and Jerry cartoon. Yeah, and it's everyone's favorite Tom and Jerry cartoon because it's freaking awesome. Sorry, I got a little... I think I'm so tired that the adrenaline is kicking in, and so I'm just going to be a little bit goofy. And, oh, I made it to the bottom of the chat. Have I ever seen Oliver and Company? Yes, I have. It's really cute. I didn't know, Susanna says, I didn't know Danny Kaye had a radio show. Yep. And, oh, who else was on it? Eve Arden was on it with him. And Harry James. Yep. The old cartoons were replacements for the 1 and 2 reel comedies that used to precede the feature film. I've done a lot of research and reading on the silent era. Yeah, well, in the 40s, they still did 1 reel comedies. They also did shorts, musical shorts that were, I guess, comparable to what we'd consider a music video today. There's tons. Like a good example is the Dolores Dandridge one of... I want a zoot suit with the replete and the yeah. I want a... Oh, how does it go? Oh, it's so cute. I want a brown gown with a hip slip and a straight lace to see my Sunday man. It's just adorable. And also, there's... We credit Looney Tunes for being... for bringing the wacky, but you watch some of these reels. There's one like how to swing dance that I keep going back to because I swear it was some modern made parody because it's so self-aware and so funny. There was just like a lot of really screwball stuff. Like screwball comedies were an invention of the late 30s, early 40s. And I know there's just something kind of manic and terrifying about screwball, but also just something so liberating, something so free about them because they're so irreverent. And I guess with cartoons, they just took the next step where they're completely irreverent to physics. And, at a time when the world seemed to be ending, I can imagine how important it must have been to make people laugh. I mean, yeah, everyone had people who were dead in their families. Everyone suffered so much in the run-up, in the post-World War I and the Great Depression and then World War II. It must have been... I can't imagine the stress that people felt. So that kind of screwball sensibility must have been a huge pressure release for society. And I don't know, maybe that's why I have such affection for it, because it seems like such a wonderful way to deal with that stress and pressure. Just let's just laugh for a while. Who knows what tomorrow may bring, but today we laugh. Yeah, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. What's the cartoon equivalent of that? Okay, let's see if I can get the coloring right on this chihuahua. We'll see. And Buster Keaton said they used the short comedies to show off impossible gags or cartoon gags. Oh yeah. That's a good point. That's why I'm drawn to silent films as well. Silent comedies, because they're so cartoonish. And just so silly. But also, like with Charlie Chaplin's films, they're incredibly silly, but incredibly sweet. Just, not too long ago, I saw City Lights for the first time, and it's a very, very basic premise. A man falls in love with a blind girl. She thinks, under these funny circumstances, she thinks he's wealthy, but he's actually like a poor hobo, but he's in love with her and wants to help her, so he does all of these horrible, humiliating jobs and brings all the money to her and pretends to be her rich benefactor until the point that he can afford to give her the money for this operation that would restore her sight. And after she gets the operation, he's so ashamed of his lies that he goes off and disappears. Oh, no, he goes to prison for something. And then years later, he's walking past her flower shop and he sees her and she's well and happy and beautiful and well fed and just looking prosperous. And he's just this bum outside, and she goes to very kindly shoo him off. And then she puts like a flower in his lapel, and then she grabs his hand, and that's how she recognized him. And she just grabs his hand and looks at him, and he looks at her with like the most painful smile on his face. And then the film just ends, and I'm like, ah, so sweet, so sad. What happens? But I don't know. There's something to that simplicity and the sweetness that feels, even though it's completely artificial, completely contrived, there's something in there that feels so genuine. Like the emotions are very honestly manipulated. So, yeah. I think Chaplin might have been the only one who really tugged at the heartstrings, though. Buster Keaton was just hilarious and incredible. Just the stuff he came up with. Wow. I wonder if Tom Cruise is a fan of Buster Keaton. If I ever meet him, I'll ask. Dog's looking more like a dog. Fantastic! Thank you, Susanna. Drago says, I'm still waiting on Tom and Jerry Time, which is T&J's very first preschool show. Tom and Jerry Time? I don't remember that. I just remember Tom and Jerry Kids. Just show I never cared for much. This glut of shows that aged down famous characters and made them kiddie shows. They're very rarely good. I think Muppet Babies was tolerable. Like, everyone has really fond memories of Muppet Babies, but when I was a kid, I didn't like it all that much, but it was better than whatever else was on, so I watched it from time to time. I like the fantasy element of the show, but it was also just, I don't understand why they're all in this room. Are they related? Is Nanny... Who is Nanny? Why is she looking after all of them? Where are their parents? Why won't these questions ever be addressed? I liked A Pup Named Scooby-Doo because that seemed to not just rely... Because the great thing about Scooby-Doo is how much there is to improve upon it. So it's the premise is, what if... What if Dobie Gillis got a van and solved mysteries with his friends? And yeah, if you watch Dobie Gillis, you're like, these characters are all the Scooby-Doo characters. That's a design I'm going to do sometimes. Keep a lookout for it. Just the Dobie Gillis characters as the Scooby Gang. I don't know who should be Scooby-Doo. If you're familiar with The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, give me an idea for what Scooby-Doo should be. Should it be the giant chicken from that one Nightmare episode? I don't know. But A Pup Named Scooby-Doo took premise, that vague character outlines, and just amped them up and really hit home the personalities. And I haven't seen that done that well until years later with Mystery Incorporated. And even then, like, I really like Mystery Incorporated. It's actually my favorite iteration of Scooby-Doo, because I'm not that big of a Scooby-Doo fan to begin with, but like, I could tell what each character was about, and they were interesting. And Fred kind of broke my heart. Like, just like the storyline with him and his dad, it was like a genuine plot twist that I did not see coming, which really, really pleasantly surprised me. And I'm glad they did that, made him took that direction with Fred, because the whole, like, he's obsessed with traps thing, I did not really understand. I was like, is this a metaphor for something? I don't know. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Mystery Incorporated, it's definitely the best Scooby-Doo. I don't think that's controversial to say. Or if it is, I don't care, because it's just true. Okay. And we are rounding on midnight. Okay, he sort of looks like a dog. Or a giant, strange bug rabbit. Here, I'm going to give... Somehow I think these lines will help. Wow, it really doesn't. Susanna says, I'm familiar with Dobie Gillis, but not Scooby-Doo. And Ice Cream Hero says, I rotoscoped a Buster Keaton film for animation class. Oh, that's awesome. I did Gene Kelly from An American in Paris. Drago says, don't get us started on baby Looney Tunes. Yep. Matthew says, yee, and what if instead of that... When I was... Sud says, when I was a young kid, I had an intense hatred for baby Looney Tunes. I thought they were super annoying. Yeah. In the reboot, they have it where the Muppet Babies are in a daycare and Ms. Nanny is their teacher. Yeah. And Liston says, my request form should have a description box or something because it allows us to explain the characters to you and would let you know what you're working with. That's a good idea. Yeah. I can say, like, character name, character reference, character link for reference, and then optional describe the character. Ice Cream Hero says, where can I find How to Swing Dance? Is that the right name? I don't know. I saw on TCM ages ago, because they would play them. I'll see if I can try and find it. It's just really, really funny. Fritz is actually a genetically engineered German Shepherd created for war, but unlike other Kriegshunden, he was given a soul. Now he wanders the land helping those in need and trying to find himself. Somehow I'm reminded of shades of The Empty Child. And No Parking Berry says, am I still interested in publishing an art book out of these drawing requests? I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Yes, I think once I get to 50 streams, I think I'll have enough material for a book. But I might, yeah, I might have to... Uh-oh. Where'd the chat go? Okay. Okay, did I ever... Okay, now I can find the bottom of the chat. So also repeat, just trying to keep your self-esteem from going off a cliff, you know, finishing your cuckoo bird and all. I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. Okay, let me just get a little bit of shadowing down here. Everybody polka! Wait, not polka. This is like a... What is this? This is like a... This is called... This is called Muffin Cuffin. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Lee says, good night, Jazzy Joe. Gotta go. I gotta go too. Let's just go over what we have achieved together this evening. We have Fritz, the genetically engineered Vorhund. We have Tabitha. And Zally Alley. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't get the... Ugh! I didn't get the pen done. Okay, and Sunny, he's gonna be small. Lacklusters. Okay, so I feel like... And then Louis the Fly, Invader Zim, Duck Avenger, Fake Mrs. Brady, Bonkers, Andy Bass, who's off-model, but I never promised being on-model, Danny Phantom. Which one should I do a zoom in of? Okay. There's a quick shout out. Which one do you think I should zoom in on? Duck Avenger? Well, you know, it should probably be one that that I did during the stream. I don't know. I'll just do Duck Avenger. All right. Did I... The only way we'll see MB incomplete... Muppet Babies incomplete DVDs copies... Too much schmaltz, not enough baby violence. Okay. Well, thank everybody for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And if there was any way, any way you can find it in your hearts to support, this is how you can do so. If I can type into the chat, there you go. It's a good thing we're ending because my computer's starting to seize up. Hello. Okay. Yep. I am frozen. I'm not allowed to leave. Oh, man. Okay. Well, anyway. I'm just going to end it here, and thank you all again for joining me. And again, it'd be lovely if you check out my TeePublic store. The link is everywhere. Do all the liking and the clicking and the thising and thatting. And also, make sure to join me again next time. It's always nice to have company while I draw, and hopefully I wasn't too bonkers today, and you'll join me next time as well. All right, everybody. Have a great night. see you next time.